I'm making some homemade English muffins today. The ingredient list is short, the process is surprisingly simple, and if you taste these, you will never look back at the packages in the store. Hi, my name is Laura, and I invite you to make yourself at home while we make some English muffins today. These English muffins that I'm making today are a sourdough English muffin. Now, if you don't have sourdough in your house, don't have any interest in baking with sourdough, please don't let that deter you. If you are interested in making homemade English muffins, you can find an equally great recipe that would replace sourdough with yeast. And I guarantee you that you will love the results and you will likely replace anything that you would ever buy at the store. That's what we have done, and we haven't looked back. I'm actually doubling the recipe because I'm looking to stock up my freezer. We have been out for a few weeks and missed them, so I want a nice supply on hand. So I am doubling this recipe today, but I will give you the ingredient list in single form. It is 3 cups of all-purpose flour, half a cup of active sourdough starter, 1 tablespoon of honey, 1 teaspoon of salt, and 1 cup of milk. It is that simple. I will leave this recipe linked below if you're interested in giving it a try. It comes from Little Spoon Farm, and I have actually used several of their sourdough recipes, both active and discard recipes, and we have enjoyed everything of theirs. Now I'm going to take it over to the mixer and turn it on low speed with my dough hook. Now, if you do go to the recipe on Little Spoon Farm, you will notice that I have kind of veered from that recipe at this point. So it actually calls for mixing it with your hands, not just by hand. So I take that to mean like actually getting your hands in and mixing it. And I did that the first time or two, and I actually forgot one time and just put it straight over on the mixer. Didn't realize it till after I'd done that. And honestly, they turned out just the same. So I have begun skipping that step. I haven't done it in a long time. So I just take it straight to the mixer and turn it on low and knead for 5 minutes. Now that it's done kneading, I'm going to take the dough and transfer it to another bowl so that it can sit overnight and rise. I'm making this dough one evening so that it has about 12 hours to sit and rise, and the next morning I'll be prepared to roll it out and make it. So it's a little bit sticky, but only because of the honey. It's not too bad, but you might have to scrape a little bit out. And once you get it in the bowl, just cover it with a towel and let it rest on your counter for the evening. You see my nice, lovely hand there. It's the next morning. My English muffin dough has risen beautifully, as you can see here. So I'm going to get them rolled out and cut and on a sheet pan where they will rest for about an hour and rise just a little bit more before it's time to cook. You'll want to generously flour your counter before you do this. You just transfer the dough onto the counter, and as you see, some of it has stuck to the bowl. So I don't want to leave any of that behind if at all possible. So I take my scraper and just get all of that out so that we can not waste anything in the process. Now I'm just going to take my flour on the counter and just make sure it's coating this dough so that it's easier to work with and ready to roll out. I just take the rolling pin and start working it back and forth. What you ultimately want to go for is about a ½ inch thickness for these English muffins when you cut them out. They will get transferred to a baking sheet. You see, I have a baking sheet there that's lined with parchment paper. And once I cut them out, I will transfer them there and let them rest for about an hour. They'll rise just a touch. They will actually rise even more in the cooking process, and you'll see that in just a couple minutes. Now that I have my dough rolled out nicely to a 1/2 inch thickness, I just take a traditional biscuit cutter and cut out as many circles as I can of the dough, and I line them up on my sheet pan. The parchment paper will keep it from sticking to your sheet pan, so that's a nice help. And once you get all of your English muffin dough cut out, then you can cover it with a towel just to prevent it from drying out because you're going to let it sit for just a little while before you cook it. And once I got that first circle of dough cut out as much as I possibly could, I just took my dough and rolled out that again and got as many as I could out of that one. Here I am repeating that process one last time to get a couple more cut out. And the final one in particular, I will press down into the biscuit cutter. And it may look a little bit wonky, but it will be loved and eaten just the same. And as you see there, I got 25 English muffins out of this double recipe. After I let my English muffins rise on the counter for about an hour and a half, I got my pan ready. I have a large pan that I've heated on the stovetop at a medium low temperature. And you want something that you can add a lid on top of because you want the steam that will create to help cook the English muffin. So what you do is you take a few English muffins, whatever will fit comfortably in your pan. You don't want to crowd them because that will change the cooking temperature and mess with things and they just won't cook right. You want to give each one plenty of space, but you want to put your English muffins in and cook them on each side for 3 minutes. As soon as I get that lid on the English muffins, I will set my timer for 3 minutes. I am notorious for walking off and seeing something that needs to be done, and I get busy and just immerse myself in it and forget all about the English muffins. And 5 minutes later, oh, there you go. So I rely on that 3 minute timer for these for sure. Once I hear that 3 minute timer go off, I come remove the lid and flip my English muffins. And you'll see I have a little trouble at first, but I honestly think that's my pan. It's not the English muffins. These copper pans, I'll be honest, I am not a fan. I'm actually in the market to replace them right now as a Christmas gift for my husband. He asked me to pick out what I wanted, and these copper pans have not been a friend to me. In my judgment, they were kind of a waste of money. But I flipped to the other side and I set my timer again, as you see, so that I will come back and these will be finished. Another 3 minutes has gone by, and check out that steam that's coming out of the pan. These things come out and they are absolutely gorgeous. The first pan actually turned out just a touch browner on that second side than I prefer them to be. It's not a problem. They will not be wasted in this house, I can assure you. But I did turn my eye down just a little bit for the remaining muffins, and they all came out what I would call perfectly. So it was a win, even in spite of this first pan being just a little bit brown. We love to keep these English muffins in the freezer because they are so versatile. They can be used just as a standalone English muffin or toasted with some butter and jam. We also love to make breakfast sandwiches with them. I keep individual sausage patties in the freezer and we'll cook up exactly the number we want. And this is a nice little breakfast if you want a breakfast sandwich with some protein. You can add sausage, cheese, even an egg if you want to. And it doesn't take long to prepare if you have these already made. They're also really great for on the go breakfast ideas. You can make some of these breakfast sandwiches and they're nice and easy. They're easy to eat in the car if you need something like that. Another fun idea is to slice these open and use them for little mini pizzas. Everybody can just kind of create their own with whatever toppings you have, and just a fun little lunch idea with these. My little trusty kitchen helper is pretty excited about these English muffins, and I must say that I am as well. And this is my final pan. I'm giving them their final flip, and we're about to have a nice batch of English muffins. Just look at this gorgeous plate of homemade English muffins. If I can do it, I promise you can too. We are going to let these cool off and then I will package them up to put in the freezer. For the most part, I'll leave a few out on the counter for the next couple days, but I'll package these up to put in the freezer and we will have English muffins for several weeks probably. Okay, I have a fresh English muffin out of the pan just about 4 minutes ago, and I have my favorite taste tester. Okay, you want to get it? What you think?
Yummy.
You like that? You gonna keep eating it, or can I have some?
You can have some.
Oh, thank you. I hope you'll give homemade English muffins a try. Let me know what you think. And thanks so much for joining me today on Make Yourself at Home. Be sure to subscribe to my channel and check out more videos like this.